Concept 3, graphing systems with parallel boundary lines. Alright, so just like absolute values or a system of equations, there are always going to be exceptions to the rule. Alright, and for systems of inequalities, we have 3 special cases. Okay, however, they all start with parallel lines. Okay, so if you are looking at a system of inequalities and you see that they've got parallel lines, you're going to know that it's going to be one of these 3 special cases. Alright, so the first one, alright, it's going to have inequalities that face away and so do not overlap. Alright, so you can see that the upper line has a greater than, meaning the solutions are going to be above it. The lower line has a less than, meaning the solutions are going to be below it. And so they're never going to have solutions that overlap, and you're going to have no solutions for your answer. Okay? Case 2 is similar, but instead of the upper line having a greater than sign, it's your lower line that has a greater than. Okay, so the line below points up, the line above points down, and so you have a little band between the two with all your solutions. Okay, because that's where the values will overlap. Your solutions will overlap. Okay, and so your solutions will be those values between the inequalities. Right? And the last one is, let's see if I can get, it's kind of covered up no matter what. The last one is where instead of having inequalities that are different, right? So with this one I've got 1 greater than, 1 less than, 1 greater than, 1 less than. The last case you have inequalities facing the same direction. Okay? Which means, because they're parallel lines, that the solutions are going to overlap completely for one of those lines, right? One of those lines is going to get completely overlapped by the solutions of the other line. Okay? And so the solutions of this system are going to be all of the solutions of that inequality that gets overlapped. Okay? So in this case, we do have a way to represent the solutions other than graphically. We can just say the solutions to this system, right? These two inequalities is just this inequality, because this one completely covers it. Right? Okay, let's go on. Let's look at some of these ones. And we can graph, maybe we'll graph one of these and the other ones we'll just look at. Okay? So, we'll graph this first one. So we've got y is less than 3x minus 2. So I'm going to make a note of which color I have. So down 2. So that'll be where that one crosses. Y-intercept for this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so that one will cross there. And right here, I actually know most of what I need. Okay, believe it or not, just those points. Because these lines are parallel, it doesn't really matter what angle they're at. I'm going to be able to tell what kind of solutions I'll have just from which line is on the top, which line is on the bottom, and which way their signs point. Okay, but let's graph this first one. Alright, so 3x minus 2, 1, 2, 3, over 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, and there, and coming down, down, something like that. Okay, and so I can make my line. And green. Oh, except my line needs to be dotted, right? Because it is a greater or is a less than, and there's no equal to. So a value on that line won't be a solution. Okay? And then I can shade my area. Oh, yeah, that's not what I meant to do. All right. Okay, and it's y is less than, so it'll be everything below. All right, so this is my shaded area. Okay, everything down there. Okay, going back to my other one. Oh, it's not a bell. That's just in the video. All right, so y is greater than 3x plus 5, so it's going to be everything above this, and my slope is still 3. So I'm going to count them and walk it over. There, 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 and there. And blue. And now I do also again need to have a dotted line. Set that up and okay. So those are parallel, hopefully, or at least pretty close. And now I'll do my shading. And this is y is greater than, so it'll be above it. Okay. And there. Got that all shaded. Okay. So you can see this upper line above it has solutions. This lower line below has solutions. They're parallel. They're never going to cross. So this would be a no solutions equation or inequality. All right. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is we're just going to look at these two systems. Okay. Pretty much we can ignore our slope. Okay, those don't really matter because we have parallel lines. All right, so what we're going to be looking at, what we're going to be paying attention to are our sines and our y-intercepts. Okay, and I think it does help to at least graph that y-intercept. So this green one is going to be at -1. This blue one is at +3. And now looking at my my sines, I have for my green line a greater than or equal to, meaning it's going to be, my values are going to be above it. Okay, and for my blue line I have a greater than, meaning my values are going to be above it. So that means my green, because these lines are going to be parallel, okay, whichever way they go, they're going to be parallel. My green solutions will completely cover all of my blue line solutions, my blue inequality. Okay, so the solutions for the system would be this whole inequality. Okay, everything in this inequality will be a solution to this system. All right, anything between the green and the blue won't be, because it'll be just a solution to the green line. Okay. All right, and now last one. Try and go quick. They're pointing away from each other. Okay, so I know I'm not going to have the same situation I had here. All right, I know it's either going to be pointing away from each other and no solution, like I did up here, or pointing towards each other, right, and overlapping. Okay, and you can also think of this kind of as an compound inequality for the like we did on our number line, right? And it can either be an and, okay, where they overlap, or an or, right, where they wouldn't overlap at all. Okay, but in this case that would be a no solutions. All right, so let's figure this out. I've got one at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and one at 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and my upper line right, is solutions are below, right, because it's less than or equal to, so it's going to be below this one. And my lower line, okay, the one that has the smaller y-intercept, is going to have solutions above. So it's going to be solutions in a band between these two. All right, and then at this point I could graph them to be able to show that. All right, but I can see just from doing this that I know, okay, I am going to have overlap, and I am going to have solutions between my two inequalities.